welcome to The Den. On this episode, we're talking some NFL football. Specifically, should the league let more teams in the playoffs?
Can't penalize a team with a far better record by sending them to a crappy divisional winner.
Okay, but you've still got divisions where teams that were above 500 still didn't have teams that made the playoffs because of the division they were in.
Ryan Lindell of the Buffalo Bills will be teaching me how to kick a field goal in our Tips from the Pros segment. Plus, you don't want to miss what our host John Tavares is ranting about in the end zone. All this, plus our average Joe sports fan trivia on this episode of The Den.
Thanks, Amy, and welcome back to The Den. I'm your host, John Tavares, and as per usual, we've got Tom Ledansky with us, my good friend here. Tom, how are you?
I'm doing great, John. Yourself?
Oh, I see I'm doing great, but I can see like you're restraining that emotion, you know, because today's topic is pretty sensitive to you.
Pretty close to the heart.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a travesty what happened, John, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. And what we're talking about today is the NFL and the expansion into the playoffs. Tom's a big Colts fan, and, you know, their debacle against San Diego.
The NFL's debacle, because you have to change the way that you organize the playoffs. Right now, the playoff format stipulates that division winners get an automatic home game. Why were the Colts, who won 4 more games than the Chargers, playing in San Diego?
Because you said it. They weren't their division winner.
That's right. But the Colts have already won in San Diego. Yeah. The Colts had already won in San Diego. What are they doing going back there to play again when they finish with a far better record?
Okay, so again, so why not bring in more teams? You know, give the underdog the opportunity, because clearly San Diego, being an underdog going into that game, proved the point.
I think if you bring in more teams, you're going to water down an already great playoff. I don't want to say structure, but
But is it a great playoff? You got the first year ever, an 11-5 team, the New England Patriots, did not make the playoffs.
But that's exactly.
But you've got 8-8 and you've got 9-7 winning a division.
That's the key point. It doesn't happen all the time.
Arizona and San Diego, by the way.
It's the first time that an 11-win team did not make the playoffs. So it doesn't happen every year that a good team misses out on the playoffs. What's got to change, as I said, John, is the format. You can't penalize a team with a far better record by sending them to a crappy divisional winner.
Okay, but you've still got divisions where teams that were above 500 still didn't have teams that made the playoffs because of the division they were in. So something's flawed there. Maybe something like the NHL format where 1 plays 8. You know, they don't get a bye in the first round. Who needs a bye? You're playing football. It's what you get paid to do. Let's play football. So take the number 1 team versus the 8 team. You'll see a lot more teams with winning records in the playoffs versus teams 8-8 on the bubble.
So are you suggesting that potentially the division winner don't make the playoffs if they have less good records than other teams?
Well, no, the division winners still make the playoffs.
Automatic berth.
Automatic berth, similar to the hockey. However, the teams that have better records in other divisions.
But in hockey, we see the division winners 1, 2, 3. So as we see,
but then you see other teams with the best winning records after that.
Correct. But what I'm saying is I don't like that. Put the top records as the 1 through, you know, and follow it down. So the top record gets the first seed, second best record in the conference, second seed, and so on and so forth.
But why give them a bye game?
I can understand that argument, John, but with the bye, it means that you have 4 games in the first weekend of the playoffs, 4 games in the second weekend of the playoffs, 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. There's a nice symmetry to that. You allow all of your viewers to see all of the playoffs. If under your proposal, you have 4 games each day, so it's going to be harder for everyone to watch.
Yeah, but there's more revenue.
There's certainly more revenue, but I want to watch all of the playoff games.
Okay, but what about March Madness? When you look at the NCAA, you've got how many games happening in one day? You're still able to catch most games. You get to see your team. So whatever team, whatever market, it's still getting televised in those areas.
Unless you have the correct sports package, you might not be able to see your team in that case. And especially from a Canadian fan perspective, I know that I want to watch the Colts, and I want to be guaranteed that they're going to be on TV and not preempted by some local team. I don't want to watch the Buffalo Bills playoff game. I don't want to watch.
But then that's another discussion to talk about satellite and what kind of package you have. We're talking about football, though, Tom.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm saying I like the way it's structured, that every fan across the country gets to watch all of the playoff games right now. And if you expand the playoffs, you're gonna screw with that a little bit.
No, I don't think you are. I think if you expand the playoffs, you now have more meaningful games towards the end of the season. Look how many teams were in the hunt right up until the last weekend.
You're so wrong about that, John. You would have less meaningful games. You'd have all the best teams resting their players. If more teams make the playoffs, the playoff field is deeper, there's less risk of falling out of the playoffs, and then you eliminate the drama of the last few weeks of the season.
Because then that just means from day one, every game counts, and they should count from day one.
Of course, but I don't want to see at the tail end of a season teams playing out the string, playing their backup quarterback, playing their backups at other positions so that they can rest up for the playoffs. That's crappy football, and you see that all the time with the best teams.
It still happens today.
But if you expand the playoffs, you're exacerbating the situation. You're making it a lot worse.
If we expand the playoffs, we then have the opportunity. Game day, opening season, that game means more than anything now. Because a lot of teams, they don't hit their stride until 4th, 5th week. Yeah, but the thing is, the emphasis on be ready day one.
You're giving those teams that don't hit their stride even more excuse not to hit their stride early. There's more room to make the playoffs. There's more room for error.
But look at San Diego. They hit their stride late.
Yeah, why do we want to reward mediocrity like that? San Diego earned their berth into the playoffs by winning their division. There's nothing wrong with San Diego making
a weak division.
A weak division, but they were the best team in that division. And if you win your division, if you're the tops of that division, you deserve to be in the playoffs. But honestly, under your proposal, you're going to have a team like the New York Jets that faded down the stretch that would make the playoffs. And I don't like the idea of that.
But hold on a second, though. But on any given Sunday, they could win a playoff game.
But do they deserve to be in the playoffs in the first place?
They had a winning record. Why not?
So all teams with a winning record deserve to make the playoffs? I want to see the elite teams.
Well, yeah, the elite teams have plus, they're above 500. I want to see above 500 teams.
My definition of elite isn't above 500 like the New York Jets were.
I understand that, but I'd rather see that than an 8-8 team that is just 500 and making it in.
Look,
and limping in. Yes, they won their division and it was a weak division, but nonetheless, and they went on and actually won the first round wildcard game. Kudos to them.
Yeah. Kudos to the San Diego Chargers for winning that game. There's nothing that they did that was untoward in that game. But as I said, what were the Colts doing playing in San Diego? And what really gets me frustrated about that game is the overtime rule. I don't know how the MVP of your league doesn't get an opportunity to get the ball in overtime.
So let's look at the overtime rule. Maybe that's something we need to discuss as well. Yeah, I don't like the fact that we have to leave it to chance.
Well, 40% of the time, the team that wins the coin toss takes first possession, marches down the field, and scores.
As soon as they're in field goal range. And I agree with you there. So they need to adapt to either, what soccer does, where they have an extra half, what hockey does.
Soccer's good at the extra half until we get to the penalty shootout. Then it's brutal. Look at how...
Absolutely. But at least they got an extra 15. If you give you give them 15 minutes, it gives your Peyton Manning time to do his thing. If he loses the game, he loses the game. No excuses.
I will agree with you there that even if there was a sudden death period after the initial period, that's at least more fair than it is currently now.
Hey,
I mean,
even more fair is XFL. Look at the way they did it. It wasn't a coin toss. It was get your two fastest guys, chase that ball. First one to the ball to gain possession, you have it.
Well, that's better than a coin toss, certainly. But are you suggesting that should determine the outcome of the game?
At least it requires some kind of physical element to the game. Requires some skill. Beats leaving it to chance. And speaking of leaving it to chance, we're going to give our sponsors a chance to to advertise on this program and help pay for the basement rentals. We'll be right back with more of The Den, and we'll be seeing Amy with tips from the pros right after this. Stick around.
After the show, log on to our website, dentv.ca, for videos, blogs, and so much more. When we return, Ryan Lindell will show me how to kick a field goal. I'm standing here outside Ralph Wilson Stadium, getting ready to learn how to kick a field goal from Ryan Lindell. I know I'm excited. Let's get in there and start kicking. Now, Ryan, I have never done this before. So I need you to first kind of go through the steps, show me how it's done, then I'll try.
Okay. Well, for starters, I mean, we're kind of cheating here because this is the kickoff.
Okay.
But to simplify it, we'll use that for our field goal. Now, basically, I'm trying not to get too advanced on you, but basically
Okay.
take your steps back.
Okay.
However far, mine are 3. It might be different for you.
Now, I've just learned that I'm a left
Oh, you're a
foot
left footer.
hitter.
Okay, well then we'll go 2 over.
Okay.
So we'll go that route.
Okay.
And we'll kick this soccer style as opposed to the old toe punch and conventional
Okay.
style that you see
Okay.
in some of the pictures up here.
Okay.
Now we're gonna go, let me see, okay, go opposite. Go right foot, left foot, right foot, and there you are. And you're right up, and just let her rip. And then when you get up to there, point your toe, get your big boots on, point your toe, and drop your heel. And you hit it like if you were wearing a pair of Adidas right on the 3 stripes.
Okay. Looks like
So it's
I have a
kind of
stripe right there.
Well, there you go, hit it like right there.
on there.
Pretty much right on that stripe. You don't want too much toe. You know, a lot of people go from the side and they still want a toe punch and it spins
Okay.
off.
Okay, so the key is
So it's kind of a funny
Flat.
angle to put your foot. And
Okay,
with your
to
foot up, yeah, a little bit, a little bit, yeah. And so your foot will be a little bit further up and that'll help you hit
okay. So okay.
it more
let me try
square.
So I'm taking 3 steps back.
Yeah, sure, for starters. I mean, then, you know, maybe yours is,
Yeah.
thing with field goals, you got to get it off in like 1.3 seconds or so, so you can't
Okay.
take too many
Yeah, you
steps
can't
back.
take
You know what I mean? But,
too long.
but for this, take as many
It's
as you
all
need.
riding on
Take as
me
many as
right
you need.
now. So then oh man, I
So
totally
left,
forget.
wait, yeah, right,
Right.
left, right.
Left, right.
Well, that's not bad. One end over end anyway.
That was awesome. I feel
got-
the power.
It really wasn't bad. You got some pretty good lift.
Okay. But my aim was totally
Yeah,
wrong.
that was a little off. I mean, you kind of have to work on the whole timing
So
of
would
it
it
all.
be more to kind of put my body more
Yeah,
on a?
yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's part of the. It's kind of a feeling kind of a thing. You know, it's hard.
Yeah.
I can't imagine somebody not having
Okay, I
played
want to try
soccer
it
for a
one more
while.
time. I did play
Yeah.
soccer for a little while.
Well, then there you go. So you know how to kick.
So it's like, but like when you do it, you're running. No?
Well,
Is it more
mine's kind of
walk?
like I have to do it right-footed.
Yeah.
Kind of a jab and kick like that. So there, we've
worse.
regressed.
Thank you so much, Ryan. That was
Gives
awesome.
you enough to work with.
That
I don't know how much I helped, but
that's Tip
well.
from the Pros with Ryan Lindell. If you'd like to see a full interview of Ryan Lindell, log on to our website, dentv.ca. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Den. It's time for my favorite segment, Average Joe Sports Trivia. This week we've got Chris Acker on the show. Chris, welcome.
Hi.
We're talking about NFL football, and the way it usually works, Chris, is Tom will ask us a number of questions, and the one who answers the most correctly, you have an opportunity to win a steak dinner, or I just get the bragging rights as per usual. Having said that, you feeling pretty confident?
I feel I'll be enjoying my steak dinner.
Anyway, I'm going to go up and have my post-game or pre-game meal, and my post-game victory dance I'll usually do afterward in your face. And best of luck to you, and we'll see you shortly.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Chris, never order your meal unless you're ready to pay the bill.
Welcome back to the Den. I'm with Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Great.
Good luck to you, and we'll start the timer as soon as I finish asking the first question.
All right.
You ready to go?
Let's go.
Who won the Grey Cup in 1994? Baltimore or BC?
Baltimore.
It was BC. Who holds the record for the most rushing yards in an NFL career?
Rushing yards.
You want to pass?
Yeah, pass.
Emmitt Smith, a diamond among trash. What is the NFL record for the most rushing touchdowns in one game?
In one game.
A5, B6, C7, or D8?
7.
It's B6. Who won the Super Bowl in February of 2007? You want to pass again?
No. February 2007 was the New England Patriots.
It was the Indianapolis Colts. In 2004, the city of Ottawa hosted the Grey Cup. Which hated team won the championship?
Toronto Argonauts.
Correct. Who did the Atlanta Falcons draft first overall in 2001?
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick, correct. What is the NFL record for the most interceptions by one player in a game? Four? That's correct. Who holds the NFL record for most sacks in a career? A. Bruce Smith, B. Reggie White, C. Lawrence Taylor, or D. John Randall?
Lawrence Taylor.
It's Bruce Smith. Who holds the NFL record for most touchdowns in a single season?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Correct. Which Oakland Raiders quarterback won the NFL's most valuable player?
Rich Gannon.
Correct. Which NFL team lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls during the 1990s?
Buffalo Bills.
Correct. Who won the AP NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2003? He still plays for the Ravens.
Ray Lewis.
Correct. Which Buffalo Bills running back won the AP Offensive Player of the Year award in 1991?
Pass.
It's Thurman Thomas. What is the NFL record for most touchdown passes thrown in one game? A4, B5, C6, or D7?
6.
7, actually. Which NFL team went on to win the Super Bowl in both 2003 and 2004?
New England Patriots.
Correct. Who won the Super Bowl in the year 2000?
St. Louis Rams.
Baltimore Ravens. Sorry we're out of time, Chris. You did fairly well. It took you a little while to get your momentum there, but
Drawing blanks.
Drawing blanks, but we'll have to see how John does. Come on down, John.
Well, Chris started off slow, but he picked things up, scoring 8 correct answers. Let's see how John's gonna do.
We'll get it started right now.
Giddy up.
Who won the Grey Cup in 1994? Baltimore or British Columbia?
Baltimore.
BC. Who holds the record for the most rushing yards in an NFL career?
Emmett Smith.
Correct. What is the NFL record for the most rushing touchdowns in one game? A5, B6, C7, or D8?
6.
It is 6. Who won the Super Bowl in February of 2007?
Colts.
Of course. In 2004, the city of Ottawa hosted the Grey Cup. Which hated team won the championship?
Which hated team? Alouettes.
It was the Toronto Argonauts.
Whatever.
Who did the Atlanta Falcons draft first overall in 2001? Hint, do not let this guy walk your dog.
Michael Vick.
Of course. What is the NFL record for the most interceptions by one player in a game? A2, B3, C4, or D5?
4.
It is 4. Who holds the NFL record for most sacks in a career? A, Bruce Smith, B, Reggie White.
Bruce Smith.
Bruce Smith is correct. Who holds the NFL record for most touchdowns in a single season?
Record for most touchdowns in a single season?
Want to move on?
Emmett Smith.
LaDainian Tomlinson. Which Oakland Raiders quarterback won the NFL's most valuable player in 2002?
Repeat the question?
Which Oakland Raiders quarterback won the
Rich Gannon.
Correct. Which NFL team lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls during the 1990s?
Buffalo Bills.
Sure thing. Who won the AP NFL Defensive Player of the Year award in 2003? Hint, he still plays for the Baltimore Ravens.
Ray Lewis.
Correct. Which Buffalo Bills running back won the AP Offensive Player of the Year award in 1991?
Thurman Thomas.
Correct. What is the NFL record for most touchdown passes thrown in one game? A4, B5, C6, or D7?
7.
Correct. Which NFL team went on to win the Super Bowl in both the 2003 and 2004?
Patriots.
New England Patriots is right. Who won the Super Bowl in the year 2000?
Ravens.
It was the Baltimore Ravens. We're out of time. That's an excellent percentage of correct answers. We're going to take a look at the scoreboard and see who won, John. Think you did fairly well. Why don't you go pour us a drink?
Well, chalk up another victory for John. Let's go back to the bar.
Well, Chris, 13-8. We both managed to answer 16 questions, so kudos to getting that many out there. I think you, by far, are the one guest that's gotten to that many questions. So, kudos to you there. Always look for the positive side of things. And, I would offer you a drink here, but, you got to earn them. So I'm going to pour myself a double. Myself, that's a little bit of Irish, with a Portuguese name. But I do believe you mentioned something about a medium rare steak. So unfortunately, the only thing you'll be able to do is deal with the rare or raw side of your hind
Sad to
that
say.
I handed to you, unfortunately. But we've got some lovely parting gifts for you, and congratulations for even making it on the show.
Hey, thanks.
All right, we'll be back with more of the Den to come. We've got the End Zone rant coming right up. Stick around.
You think you got what it takes? Do you think you got the cojones to take me on in the Average Joe Sports Trivia? If so, log on to our website, dentv.ca. Click on Contact Us. Send me an email. If you're lucky, you will get to kiss my ring. If you're lucky, I will grace you with my presence. If you're lucky, I will welcome you into my home. But don't hold your breath, because I also have a pair of concrete shoes waiting for you too. Stick around, more to come.
Hi, I'm Ryan Lindell of the Buffalo Bills, and you're watching The Den on Min TV.
Although we saw the first 11-5 team not make the playoffs in the NFL, we also had an opportunity to see the 8-8 Chargers upset the Colts in the first round. Sorry, Tommy, too bad, so sad. If your team's that great, they should be able to win whether they're home or away. And how about the Phoenix Cardinals at 9-7? They limped into the playoffs and upset every team en route to their NFC Championship and the first appearance in the Super Bowl. And wow, they didn't disappoint. When the game looked out of reach, the Cards came storming back to take the lead, only to have the Pittsburgh Steelers put together one of the most memorable drives and TD catch in Super Bowl history. And that's really what this rant's about. It's my opportunity to gloat about my favorite team in the NFL, the 6-time Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers. Stick that in your Colt pipe and smoke it, Tommy. In retrospect, maybe there isn't anything wrong with the NFL playoff format, and who are we to judge? We don't even have a Canadian team in the league. You know I get verbal diarrhea this late in the day. What? You're not supposed to confirm.
It wasn't a question.
Well, yeah, it wasn't. It was a rhetorical question. You weren't supposed to answer it. Whew, the wood farts. Welcome back to the Den. Oh, Tom, why'd you squeeze that? Tom's talking dirty to me, whispering sweet now that we're about to do it.